Me too. So I'm also going to have my Dark Mysteries as well, The Dramatic Dead, which actually had a very interesting inspiration. When I was a kid, I lived in 2 haunted houses, and I said, how cool would it be if you could sit down and have a conversation with the ghosts? I always thought that'd be really cool. Out of that thought process came the character of Victor. Victor is one of the characters in the Dramatic Dead series, The Dramatic Dead and then The Reverent Dead. I'm actually working on book 3 right now. He kind of came out of that idea of, if I could sit down, what would it be like? And I get the most emails about Victor because everybody loves him. I always tell people, think of your great uncle at a family reunion, sitting in the corner, grumpy, cantankerous, but also the guy you love to talk to. That's Victor in a nutshell. And he's a ghost. So there's a great exchange between him and one of the other characters where Victor shows up in a Confederate war soldier's uniform because he was a Confederate soldier when he died. They get into a bit of an argument about dying and the Union and the Confederacy, and it turns out the other character just really likes yanking Victor's chain. So Victor shoots him with the rifle that he has. Of course, it's a ghost rifle, so it doesn't really do any damage, but it makes a very real noise, which scares everybody in the area. It's a really funny exchange. Victor is my levity in the series. When you're writing, you can't have all dark and not a little bit of light. So Victor's kind of my light in that series.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Tell us about your YouTube channel.
I do YouTube videos for basically anything that strikes my fancy. I always try to leave them with a question along the lines of, if there's anything you really want me to cover, let me know. Because it serves 2 purposes. The first is to, of course, spread the word about Bryan the writer and different things that I'm working on. But it also serves to share some of my thoughts and ideas about how the writing world functions, how to be a better writer. So I did one video on how to write a review, how to write a book review, or most watched video out of all of them. Turns out there's a lot of people that are almost afraid of writing book reviews. As I point out, it's really not that hard. Every time you finish a book, you should sit down and write a book review. It only need take you a minute or 2. It doesn't have to be really long. It doesn't have to be really expansive. Just a few thoughts and ideas about the book. No spoilers, please. And then leave your star rating and then move on to the next book. But a lot of people are afraid of that. So I tried to sort of demystify some of that.
We're going to have to take a close look at that episode.
That's a good one. People seem to like that one the most.
Bryan, do you have any other events you'd like our listeners to know about?
Well, we've got, of course, Hallowread, which we've already talked about. Scares That Care, which goes on every year. And next year, it's like at the very end of August. Basically, plan the trip now because it tends to take a bit of planning to get to that one.
What is that?
Scares That Care is a charity, which I'm pleased to say that'll be my 5th year going to that. We raise money for the Scares That Care Foundation. It was actually founded by a former Baltimore detective. The money goes to support families in need. We support one breast cancer survivor a year we sponsor. We sponsor a child that has various difficulties, various challenges. Last year, we sponsored a burn victim. It's basically a way for those of us who are involved in horror industry in some way, shape, or form to provide a way to give back to other organizations that need the money or people that need the money. Also, if you go to Scares That Care, you get to meet some great VIPs who are actors in various horror movies, horror television shows. They're great. We've had some pretty cool ones. But also get to meet, well, people like me. It's just a great time. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Well, Bryan, thank you so much for agreeing to speak with us today. Can you let our listeners know your website?
Sure. My website is www.bryannowak.com. I wasn't very inventive when I came up with that name, so I stuck with it.
Well, it worked.
Yes, Bryan with a Y, correct. You can also find me at Bryan the Writer on Facebook. I think if you type that into YouTube, you'd probably find my site there as well.
That's awesome. All right, Bryan. Well, thank you again, and we'll see you at Hallowread.
I am looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you.
Melissa Caribou Annen. She writes the Agent Rain series. Her website is Melissa C. Annen, MELISSACANNEN.com.
We would like to welcome Melissa Annen to our program. She is going to appear at Hallowread this Saturday. Welcome, Melissa.
Hello. Melissa, is this your first Hallowread? No, this is my 3rd.
This will be our first year, so we're learning what to expect. What are your impressions of Halloween?
This has always been one of my favorite events to go to. I think that the people are fantastic. I love everybody there. Rachel, who runs it, is phenomenal. It's just a fun group of people to be around.
Obviously, Hallowread is kind of a Halloween-based festival, and that leads us to think that it's more spooky than mysterious, but we are a mystery book club, so we are more interested in hearing about your mystery books. Can you tell us a little about your mystery writing?
Yes, I write FBI mystery series, so it's a FBI agent who is chasing a serial killer agent who's just getting into the game. But she uses her instinct. She also has a very hot partner, which doesn't hurt anything. And I write from her perspective, and then I also write from the victim's perspective. So it does get a little bit dark at times when you look at the victim's perspective. I also write in locations that I've lived. So my first book is in Omaha, Nebraska, where I lived for 9 years. And then the second book is in Baltimore, Maryland. I haven't lived in Baltimore, but I definitely went and visited the places that I was writing about and searched a lot of the places that I was talking about.
Your website says you're into photography and you write about places. Can you tell us about that?
I do a lot of photography. One of my books that I'm working on right now is in Charleston. So I went to Charleston for a week and I went around taking pictures, and I'm currently working on the story. And whenever I go back and look at the pictures, it helps inspire me for what I'm writing. I like to go out and sometimes take drives and get some inspiration and take some pictures. And cemeteries are, of course, my favorite place to go because cemeteries they're very spooky, but also beautiful in my mind.
Ours too.
Yeah.
I just came back from Germany, and one of the things on my list to do was to visit an old cemetery. It was beautiful and I loved it, but there weren't really that many very, very old gravestones that you could read. I think the oldest was sometime in the 1700s, and I was really looking forward to seeing something that would predate anything you could see here. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case.
Right.
We did a little investigating on you. We noticed that you mentioned that you had a run-in with a psychopath. Could you explain that?
My first marriage was not the happiest. I think we all go through relationships that maybe are not great. I went through an abusive relationship. It was not good. I think that my way of dealing with things really was trying to figure out, how do I deal with this? How do I work through this? And writing ended up being my outlet. Some of my stories came from that. They really helped me get through it, I think.
Did you kill off your ex-husband in the book?
Maybe.
At least torture him a little.
Well, yeah, maybe. Maybe eventually that will happen in one of the books, yeah.
Well, it's good to hear that something good came out of it at any rate.
Definitely.
Are you going to be speaking on any panels at Hallowread?
I think this year I'm not on any panels. I have in the past couple of years. This year I haven't opted into any panels. I've just been extremely busy. I'm going to school and working full time, and life has kind of gotten a little crazy, so I didn't opt in this year, but the last couple of years I was on a few panels.
Then if you're not on a panel, since we've never been there before, we're not quite sure how this works. What do you do? Just walk around, or do you have a table, or?
I'll have a table. I'll be there selling books and signing books and just talking to people, and I'll probably go and attend a few of the panels and listen to other fellow authors talk.
We are really looking forward to meeting you there. Do you have any other events besides Hallowread that you have coming up?
Not this year. I just got done with Scares That Cares. That was in Virginia, in Williamsburg, looking to figure out what I'm going to do next year. So I only do a couple a year. Hallowread has always been a favorite. Looking forward to figuring out what to do next year.
When can we expect your next book?
I am hoping that I will finish up what I'm currently working on in the next few months and get it out to beta readers and start doing all my editing. I'm hoping to actually start looking for an agent. So I'm not sure time-wise how long it's going to take me to get this out, maybe in the next year or so.
Do you have a title?
I don't. Currently, I'm calling it my Charleston story or my stalker story. This is a stalker-based story.
Can our listeners find you on your website?
Yes, they can. It's melissacAnnen.com.
Great.
We will update our show notes with that information so they can go check you out and learn all about you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Well, Melissa, thank you very much for agreeing to be on the program. We are so excited to be able to meet you in person when we get to Hallowread.
Great. And I am looking forward to meeting you, and thank you for having me on your show.
Thanks again, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
And good luck house hunting.
Oh, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Well, we hope you enjoyed those 3 interviews with attending authors of Hallowread. To be honest, we didn't know a lot about Hallowread, so this is our way to get to know Hallowread and some of the authors.
And we're really looking forward to attending. So if you do come, be sure and look us up. We'll be in matching shirts.
They're red shirts with the dark and stormy logo.
And I'll have a rose in my hair.
You will?
No.
I'll have a rose in my teeth.
I'll have a rose in my
Okay. Right. Next couple weeks, we'll give you a rundown of
our impressions and how much we enjoyed the event.
Be sure and visit our website
at itwasadarkandstormybookclub.com.
And don't forget, we're still looking for submissions for our short stories that we plan on including in our newsletter that begin in January of 2020. Please get those submissions to us quickly. We're so looking forward to reading them.
Don't forget to put short story submission in the subject line of the email. And you can find our email address and sign up for our newsletter on our website.
That brings us to the end of another episode. Remember,
life would be boring without a little mystery. Bye.